Welcome to another G4 Guitar Teacher Hangout. David Hart's my name. What we're going to do in this format is go around the guys. We're going to ask each teacher a question, and then we're going to work through those questions and answer them in the best way possible and see if we can't come up with some brainstorming ideas in the process. I just want to apologize in advance. The building that I'm in here, there's some construction going on today, so there might be a few interruptions through this video, but we'll do our best to work around them. Okay, so I've got Adam here from the US, in Maryland. Adam, what's your question for today? What would you like to ask or talk about?
I actually don't have any questions. I just wanted to hang out, see if I could help in any way.
Okay, cool. All right, excellent. So, and if something comes up during the process, let us know as well.
Cool.
Alex, what would you like to talk about today?
Yep, I would like to talk about the possibility of, or sort of the logistics of leasing one's business to one of your employees. So, what that might entail, what sort of percentages should be the profit split. You know, just the long and the short of how that might occur if we were to look into something like that.
Yep, excellent, excellent. So, kind of. What you want to do is have almost like sub-franchises where,
yeah.
Okay, cool. And that's the way to go. You want to give your your employees, your good employees, an opportunity. That's where you came from. You started as an employee of mine and became a franchisee, and so it's created an opportunity for you. And yeah, you want to be able to do the same for your guys. Okay, cool. Stu, what would you like to talk about today?
Let me think. I don't really have any specific question. I guess some things that that I'm thinking about at the moment are, I know that you did some you had a presence in shopping centers at some time, and you were sort of like having people come around, and just curious what you were actually doing when you did that. Just that sort of format, that sort of like being in a public sort of environment, trying to get people in, how you make it entertaining and engaging, what sort of resources you would give them. And the other thing that's on my mind is just like accounting software, but I know that you did do some hangouts on that a little while back, and yeah, I just missed those hangouts. So I'm not sure if I should go back over those hangouts first and maybe bring that up at another stage.
What we can do is we'll add that as a second question if we get to it on the accounting thing, because yeah, there's some things on there, and it doesn't hurt to revise some of the topics, because sometimes we add new ideas anyway. Things, especially with software, it's always being updated. Things are changing, so we'll have a look at that as a second question if we get time. Joachim, have you got a question? Can we hear you now?
Can you hear me?
Yep. Good.
I was just thinking around how to manage employees. So, for example, how to incentivize them to perform better, or sort of get them excited about the job, and so that they can provide do a better performance.
Okay. Cool. Excellent. Okay, so we'll jump into that as well. All right, so we've got 3 questions there. So I'll start off here with Alex's question, leasing your business. Now, think of your business more or less just like real estate, just like property. When people who get wealthy through property, there's different ways of getting wealthy through property. One of the ways, of course, is to buy, renovate, and sell. In other words, to flip properties. The other way is to own properties and rent them out, which is a Kiyosaki strategy, where he owns lots and lots of properties. He doesn't intend to sell them. He does sell them at certain times when he can see the market. It's the right time, the right thing to be doing. So he will at times sell. But where he's made his fortune through real estate is through renting properties. So selling or renting, and it's the same with your business. You could sell your business in theory at some point, which is something you always want to consider, because you never know what will happen and what circumstances. And it also gives you the mindset of your business being an asset rather than a job. And that's where 99.9% of guitar teachers run their businesses like a job. In other words, they're their own boss. They just create their own work, and when they go on holidays, they don't get paid. If the business things change, the business closes down, then they get nothing for it. And that's what happens to most guitar school owners, is they actually get no money for their business when they walk away from it. Whereas if you think of it more from an asset point of view, then your business should be valuable to somebody else. It should be something that is saleable, that someone can take over. And that's one of the big reasons for having a structured systems in place, such as your teaching methods, such as a brand, such as G4, etc. Because when you don't have those things in place, you really don't have anything to sell. If it was all about Alex's guitar lessons, in your home in Manly, then it's very hard to sell that, because when Alex goes, it doesn't mean anything anymore. You are the guy. And you think of it in terms of a pop star or a rock star, they become the person who has to play it. Someone like Joe Satriani, he's not going to be able to retire as a performer, because people want to come and see him. They don't want to come and see some guy pretending to be Joe. And that's the big difference in guys who can franchise their business. And with a lot of areas, they don't franchise on that. It's okay to get paid a lot of money. Someone like Satriani earns a lot of money, but still he can't put his feet up. He can't switch off. He can't go and do something different, because he's the man. He's the one who has to be there. He is the one who brings the people in. And that's the same with your business. You can't sell your business unless you can hand it over to someone else. So leasing is something that within the G4 framework is not going to be difficult to do, because we've already created that there. We haven't created a business, in your case, Alex, you haven't created a business called Alex's Guitar School featuring Alex doing the teaching with your face on the front. What you've done is you've created a guitar school based around G4, which anyone can come in and out there, and it'll still be the same method, same format, same structure, same systems. So for you to bring someone in, it's really a walk in the park. It's going to be a situation where you will discuss with one of your guys who is interested, just explain to them what it's all about, and you just need to decide for yourself. We can talk numbers. It really depends on your involvement, how much involvement you want in it. So for instance, with you guys, you pay a set amount each month. The more you earn makes no difference to me. You get all that extra profit. You just pay a small fee to be a member of G4. And the reason I've done that is because it makes it very simple and very easy for me to manage. It also makes it easy for you guys to manage. And then you're more motivated, because everything you earn from really from the time you've paid your fee is your money. You're not sharing it with anybody else. But sometimes it can be the reverse incentive, where they're incentivizing you by giving you a commission or a percentage. So what I would do is decide what you want, what you think it's worth per month to lease your business to them. So if you say to your employee, okay, you can run this business and all the expenses and everything, you're going to keep basically all the profit, except I will get this much each month. You'll pay me a certain amount each month. So you might set that at $500 a month, $1,000 a month, whatever you think it is worth in its current state, to make sure. So the place I would look at doing this is just to look at the business as it is now and go, well, how much profit is it making? Let's just say in theory you're making $50,000 profit, and your employee is being paid $500 to manage that property, to manage that school per week. So what you can say to your guy is, okay, I'm going to give you the business as it is, and at the moment we're making $1,000 profit. I therefore am going to get $500 a week for me. That's my income. For you, you're going to already make the same profit as you're making in your earnings, but anything you build on top of that from this point on increases your earnings. So therefore they have a very clear direct incentive to get more students, because it's all 100% of them. So that's a flat fee type scenario. The other scenario is to have a breakdown where you say we split the profit from this point on. So you can still have a flat fee, and then you have a profit share where you might get 20% or 30%, whatever you want to decide it on from that point on. What I would do though is retain ownership of the business. So that way they're kind of leasing. You can create a contract, maybe do it with a lawyer, create an actual contract that you can get both signed and then they get a certain percentage of that. Does that make sense, Alex?
Yeah, it does. I guess just thinking in terms of the breakdown thing and how much. Yeah, like you said, it's a matter of responsibility about how much I'm sort of can contribute post the fact. So I guess it would just be a matter of sitting down and running the numbers and working out, what's going to work best for me. Because I mean, at this point, to be honest, like I mean, I've been doing this for like 3 years. It would be nice to be able to step back and take a break for a little bit, just to maybe not even for a long time, but just the ability to be able to step back, even just the ability to do that, would be really good. So yeah, maybe a flat fee model or something would be really useful. And I guess if I broke it down in terms of, you have a rental lease thing, which is like 6 months. If I did something like that, and then you go, okay, well, you own this business for 6 months in the same way that I rent the building for 6 months, and then after that we can discuss the term. So yeah, that would sort of make a lot of sense to me.
Yeah, excellent. And that way you keep the ownership of the business and therefore have an interest in keeping it healthy and alive and going. And you can even say, like you say, you can negotiate it further down the track. You might even have a buyout situation where you say after 6 months or after 12 months, then you can make me an offer on buying the business. So you just negotiate with them. See what they want and see what works out best. As you know, with you guys, there were a couple of the guys who actually took over locations that I had, and that in that situation they paid a little bit more, but what they got was an established location with students in it. So that was that was what they wanted, and that's what they were happy with. So yeah, you got to find out what each person wants really, and I think it's definitely one of the best ways to do it because they've had a chance to get in. They know what the business is all about. Businesses are much more likely to succeed if they come from internally. In other words, they know the business already. People who come from outside the business, who if you sold it on the market, someone came in not knowing about your particular business, they don't know the day-to-day. I would feel much better myself personally buying a business that I was working in because then I know what the numbers are. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, all right, so let's move on. Shopping promo tips. So Stu asked about doing shopping center promotions. When you're in a shopping center and promoting your school, how do you go about it? First of all, I'll just cover a couple of quick things. Number one is that within shopping centers, most shopping centers will allow you to come in and do what they call a casual lease, and that means you can just set up for a couple of days, for a week, whatever deal you can get, and you get all that flowing traffic. It's all local. You often have lots of parents, their kids, especially if you get the timing right. If you can get a place near, as we did a couple of times, we tried to get near where kids would be. There was one where there was some kids' clothing stores, another where there was a toy store, things like that, where we positioned ourselves so we got lots of the right traffic. And then you need to obviously get them in and get their attention. And that'll be a combination of props, such as your signs, the way you're set up, and your personality. And if you can have a good combination of both, you're going to be highly successful. Our best run was 100, just a little bit over 100 students inquired, or we got their details, sorry. We got more inquired, but we had got the details, email addresses, phone numbers, names, etc. Out of that 100, we ended up with about 30 who became enrolled students for a period of time. So I can confidently say it was highly successful in that respect. So in terms of what to do and how to leverage, first of all, we've already seen a lot of the things we talked about with G4 about doing these promos, getting the signs, and making sure you have brochures there that people can take, even having the kits themselves, like the printout of the G4 guitar method that you could give away if you like, even doing things like having some stickers and maybe some pics and just different things, balloons, different things that will attract kids to want to come over and have a look, and parents. So those kind of things are what they're looking for. You know, if I take my daughter to the bank or something like that, inevitably she wants to get the forms, or if someone offers a business card, she wants to take it. It's like, we don't need it, but she wants it. That's what kids are like. They love to collect things. So if you've got anything that's interesting or amusing or something they can collect, that will get their attention and get them in. Plus, you know, a sticker is a promotion. If you can get the right kind of sticker, it'll be something that will really go well. I apologise again for the background noise. There's construction going on here at the moment, but hopefully it won't be too much. Okay, so what kind of things can we do in that situation, as far as getting people interested in what you're doing? The first thing that I would say is that to run trial guitar lessons. Have a couple of chairs, some footstools, and have a guitar there, and invite people to sit down and actually do a lesson with you. And they don't have to be long. Keep it short. Another thing you can do is try and do it combined with someone else. I did it with the piano teacher who was renting the same building. We were actually sharing a couple of locations. I've spoken about her before. And what we did is we shared the cost, so halved our cost straight away. But we also had two of us there all the time, so we were able to bounce between us. If two people came over and inquired about guitar, then she would chip in. If the two people for piano, I would chip in, and so forth. So it helps in both those respects to have someone to do it with. If you can't find someone else to do it with you, think about how you can really capitalize on it. You might even sell some guitars, sell some instruments, sell some sheet music, sell some other items. You might even go to a local music store that aren't in the shopping center and go, hey, we're doing this promo for guitar lessons. How would you like to, you know, promote your business? This is what it'll cost you. I'll get you to pay half because that'll help me with the costs, but I'll dedicate half the stand to you guys promoting your music store and that you sell instruments and so forth. So there are lots of ways that you can minimize the cost. If you're really clever, and this is the thing about business, this is what smart people do in business. The terms are called OPM, other people's money, and OPT, other people's time. Now that might sound a bit sinister and like you're using other people, but what you're actually doing is leveraging resources that aren't being used. And this is something that Jay Abraham, which Paul was talking about, and he talks a lot about using unused resources that are all around you everywhere, not just your resources but other people's resources. So if you've got a resource which is setting up a shopping stall there, a promo in the shopping center, then there are businesses all around your area that would love to get some exposure in that shopping center with thousands of people walking past. So if you're very clever, what you can do is set it up and then sell it off until you get to the point where it's costing you nothing. And what you've done is you kind of subleased your area. And if you can do that repeatedly, then you could even turn it into another profitable business. And that's the key to business, is leverage other people's resources, other people's time, other people's money into your own business to help them and to help yourself. So if you can think of ways to do that, and the shopping center is a perfect example. So I guess the other things you can do is when you do a shopping center promo, another thing is to back it up with other local marketing. So in other words, run a Facebook ad, send out to your list things like, come and meet us at shopping center this weekend. We're giving away, this book or free starter kits or free lesson. Come down and join us. Get some of your students to go down there and play. Because if you've got people around, I think we all know this scenario. You see a couple of people, one or two people in the shopping center there with their books and their pens, and they're eagerly looking at you, hoping that you'll come over and talk to them so they can sell you some insurance or a credit card or something like that. And you just put your head down and you go in the other direction. If you have a few people around, it creates a very different atmosphere. People sort of look and go, oh, I wonder what's going on there. And then they start to move in and you start to build a little bit of a crowd. It happens, we always used to say, when it rains, it pours. So there'd be nobody, and then suddenly there's 10 people all want to ask us about guitar lessons because they're waiting until someone else is there first. It's, again, the whole restaurant scenario. Put your customers in the window and make your restaurant look busier. So there are a few tips. Stu, are you planning on doing something like this anytime soon?
Yeah, no, I am, definitely. Definitely going to be doing something soon. Yeah, there's a couple of centres near me that I've inquired about, and the costs are pretty reasonable. Even for like a week, it's about $1,000 for a week at either of the centres, and that's not a whole lot of money.
Look, one
You
student,
only got
one
to
good student.
yeah.
Yeah,
Yep.
one good student, and it's paid for itself. It really, you know, we got a great return on them. It cost, I think, we got a couple of different prices, but on average, it cost me personally about $500, and it was not only paid for itself many times over. It was a great experience. I really enjoyed it. I enjoyed being out in the shopping centre and talking to people, and you know, really getting, just being outside of my normal atmosphere. It was really good. I will also say my brother did it and had great success with it as well. I also did it in the early days when I worked for Brash's, who you may remember, an Australian music retailer. You know, we would stand in front of the shop and do different things in the shopping centres. So yeah, quite a lot of. And back then, when I was an employee in my sort of teens, early 20s, it was part of the job. You had to be promoting stuff all the time in the retail sales area. It's just how things work. Okay, cool. So I think we covered that one. So next one is Joachim's question of managing employees. Now, Joachim, have you got any specific challenges, or is there something specifically you're looking for?
Yeah, well, it's just around you know, retaining students. You know, we have more than enough intros, but you know, I want to, you know, get more, you know, keep students long term, and that will benefit both you know, the you know, the employees. They will get higher pay, and you know, business will be more profitable.
Okay, cool, excellent. So one of the things and as this guy was saying, is it's really about empathy and understanding what it is that your employees, how they see the world, how they see their job and their position there. And I think it really helps to try and get in their shoes for a while and see things from their point of view. They have to see your point of view as well. They have to realize that they're part of something, that it's not all about them, that as much as you would love to make it all about them, it won't work, because it's got to be about everybody. Every stakeholder has to be understood from their point of view. So I'm talking about your students, your employees, and of course yourself and anybody else who's a stakeholder. So the question is, where do you find that middle ground? How do you get to your employees and ask them what they want? And really what it comes down to is an exchange of I want to know what you want, and I want you to know what I want, so we can give each other what we need and want. And when you get this situation where the one party or both parties are kind of not seeing each other's point of view, they're not really understanding or not doing their part, or it feels like they're not doing their part, that's really where you're going to have that challenge between the two. So I guess all I can say in regards to this, it will come down to specific needs and wants of the particular people involved. And I guess the success for me in my management, and I had plenty of failures and successes, certainly on both sides of it, was really about making a strong relationship and strong connection, just like with the students, treating the employees very much the same as the students, making a very strong connection early on. Because when you do that, it's like any relationship. Don't think of an employee relationship any different to any other relationship. In any relationship, what people will do is they'll make a lot of their judgments about you early on, because that's really where they're looking to, that's when they're testing you. There was a study done which was quite funny really, but it said something like, you know, the average female has a checklist of 140 or 150 things that they go through mentally. They don't have a physical checklist, but they mentally go through these things on a first date. So they're literally going through all these things. Is his hair right? Did he show manners? Did he, you know, speak respectfully? Did he swear? Did he smell good? You know, all these things that they're ticking off are part of your thing in regards to whether or not you're going to build a good relationship and good connection with your employees. So really, a lot of your problems come from the beginning. If you don't get off to a good start, you find yourself really working hard to mend that, because they're always thinking back to, or they've just got this bias, confirmation bias is already set in. Now, I'm not saying it can't be changed, you've just got to be prepared for a little bit of work. So I would really break it down to individual situations and say, okay, what is it with this particular person that I feel that I'm not getting? If in the case of your business where you're not getting results, in other words, they're not retaining enough students, or even if they are doing well but you want to help them to retain even more students, what I suggest more is finding out what they need. What do they need in order to improve that? What is something, because what will be going on in their head are 100 reasons why you're not supporting them, or the school, or the systems, or the program, or something is not supporting them. You guys, I get emails every day from at least one of you regarding something that you need, or something you feel that the G4 guitar method may be missing, or the G4 as a whole may be missing. And these aren't criticisms, these are just areas that you can see that need improvement, something you feel that you want to help you. And obviously I can't do everything, but what I do is I do take them on board, and I look at them and I add them to my list, and I decide which things are going to be the most helpful, most important, and you can do the same. So it's an ongoing process of improvement and making it better and better and better for your employees each and every day. If you can take that attitude, I think what you're going to see is an improvement in the performance overall, because it's not just, obviously you're not trying to just improve them, you're trying to improve the retention and the performance of your students, and that is not just about them, that's often about the systems that you have in place. And if you go back to the E-Myth, he'll tell you it's all about the systems. Your employees are really the product of your systems. So when you look at an employee, and this is something that really changed my take on things, is when I looked at an employee and I saw them doing something that I wasn't happy about, I could go to them and say, hey, I don't like what you're doing, can you stop doing it and do this instead? They would grumble. But if I instead created a system or a situation where they couldn't possibly get to that, or that problem could be eradicated or overcome in some way, that was a much better solution, because it didn't need me to go and talk to them. The system had already changed itself. So again, for another example, the G4 guitar method was the system of getting teachers to teach in the way that I wanted them to teach, rather than them coming up with their own methods all the time. And even though they still did, they still kind of circumvented it, what happened was that they were much more on track than they were before. Before they were just completely off track doing their own thing, and I had no control over where they were going, what they were doing. But with a system in place and method and so forth, then it was easier for them to take that track, if that makes sense. Does that help, Joachim? Is that?
Yeah, it does. Yes, thank you.
Okay, cool. Yeah. So systems. Look at your systems. Focus more on what you get, what the result is of your teachers, and the result you want, and then look at the overall systems and decide what systems you can put in place to make that happen.
Right.
Okay. So I'll just cross over to what I wanted to do was see if there was a second question before I go on. There was a second question I think Stu had. Is that right, about the accounts?
Yeah.
Yep. Okay. So what was that question?
Just about software.
For accounting?
Yeah, just for accounting. Yeah.
Okay. Cool. Pretty simple. QuickBooks is what I use. It's really, to me, I'm building, as you probably know, I'm building an application that's going to help you with the management of your business. It's not an accounting software. The accounting side of it is QuickBooks don't do it so well. That's why I haven't incorporated it into it, and just we'll leave it as a separate thing. But this is, and we have other priorities that we want to get done, so that's why I put those first in that particular application. And it's all about managing your students, and tracking the marketing, and emailing, just getting things done quicker. Things that would normally take you, even if it takes you 2 minutes, the idea is that this program will cut that down to 1 minute or 30 seconds. And so I would get into QuickBooks, and I sort of encourage any of you to use QuickBooks, because then we're all on the same platform, and it makes it very easy for us to share our knowledge of QuickBooks. I'm not an expert on QuickBooks. I use it for my purposes. It does everything I want it to do. I've also got size is set up so she can use it, and she does most of the work for me. All I do is go and check it every couple of months to make sure everything is balancing. And that's about it. Monty, did you have a question that you wanted to ask?
Not really. I'm just kind of enjoying all the different topics here. So not really. I don't have a list.
Okay, no worries. That's fine. Yeah, I can hear you. I'm muting because of the noise, but that's good. I've just got something else.
You got some nasty termites over there, brother.
Oh yeah, they've decided. Well, it happens every now and again. They do some construction here, and unfortunately, they like to work at this time. So, so what do we got here? Maybe get a discount from QuickBooks if everyone uses it. Yeah, that might be possible as well. There might be a group discount with QuickBooks that we can look into. I think, and again, that's another way to leverage it. If we can find a way to leverage it. It's just one of those things that we can use as our advantage to approach them. So I might have a look into that and see if QuickBooks. What does everybody else use? Adam, what are you using for your accounting?
My accounting, very unprofessional. Putting everything down in like Microsoft Word pages or whatever. Very unprofessional.
Okay. Yeah. Right. So you're doing it very. Yeah.
I need to get it QuickBooks probably.
You need to get it quickly. Yes, you need to keep those accounts up to date because you've got quite a few students now, so you want to make sure you stay on top of that because otherwise it'll catch up to you after a while. You'll just find yourself overwhelmed with it all. So, okay, cool. And Monty, are you using anything in particular?
We use QuickBooks.
Okay, excellent. Yeah. So you're with it all, no problem at all. Okay, so I've covered the main questions there. So does anyone have another topic they want to talk about? I can go on with something. Yep, Adam.
Yeah, anyone can answer. I was just curious. Anyone that has had employees that do flyers for them, I was just curious. Maybe some of the challenges you've had and how you overcame them, that kind of thing.
Okay. Yep. Does anyone want to answer that?
Yeah, I can say something.
Great.
Well, I have the employee that's in Penrith, and so I've been because I've built a very good relationship with him. Then he's okay with flyers, and I just telling this is important to retain to get more students in, and we it benefits both of us.
Excellent. Yeah. So you're letting him know that kind of incentivizing him, and then the fact that hey, this is going to help you as well. We're in this together. I think coming back to what Alex was talking about, the idea of leasing a business, one of the things in business that makes a difference, and something that I've noticed with many of the most successful entrepreneurs, is that they make other people wealthy in the process. So it's not just about their trip. And if you've got employees coming in, if you can look at your employees, and this is something that will help you as well, it kind of ties in here, Joachim. If you look at your employees as almost like apprentices that are wanting to learn how to make a life out of guitar, to survive and live on guitar, they will become much more loyal to you, and you will enjoy the role much more as well, working with them. You won't be frustrated with them. You won't be thinking, I'm paying this guy to be here, just do what I tell you to do. You won't have those kind of attitudes that often employers have. What you do is you take on that role of, I'm going to develop this person and help them to become an entrepreneur, or at least a self-employed guitarist that can survive on what they're doing. And as you talk more about your business and talk about your own story, they will get more involved in what you're doing if they understand. So Joachim, let's do this for a quick exercise. What is your story? Why are you doing what you do?
I like I like to see people's like students progress. Like it's good to build. It's good to see how they are sort of enjoying what they like learning guitar and just the process through it. And it's good to build people and see how they're getting better every time. And also, you know, it's good to have being around people every day, and you can always, you know, it's sort of like you have like 100 or 200 friends that you see every day.
Okay, cool. So you're telling me your motivation, but what's your story? Why are you where you are? Let's go back to your childhood, right? Let's put you on the lounge and talk about it. No, I'm joking. Let's just go back to what got you to where you are today. So you grew up in Norway, is that correct?
That's it.
Yep. And you moved to Australia when?
In 2009.
2009. And what led you to come to Australia?
Just a change of perspective, or just something different. Something different.
Something different, bit of an adventure.
Yep.
Yep.
That's it.
Okay. Excellent. So, what did you discover in Australia that made you want to stay?
Just in general, the pace of everything, how everything is running it's much slower. So
Yep.
it's like, you know, it's a bit more relaxed. So yeah, it was just better that way.
Just a more laid-back lifestyle.
Yeah. Yes.
Excellent. Stu's a good example of that. He likes the laid-back lifestyle. So yes, okay, cool. I get that. I understand why you're here. Australia is, you know, easygoing, no worries. That's the kind of place that Australia is, and that's what we kind of like to do. So I understand. So to stay in Australia, your situation is a bit different to everybody else, or to most of our other members, because they don't have the requirements of a government standing over them saying you need to meet all these visa requirements before we let you stay. So that's part of your story, correct?
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So you've got to meet certain requirements. Your business has to build at a certain rate. You have to show profits. You have to show that you're employing people. Are there any other requirements that I've missed there?
You have to, but yeah, you have to continue to grow and show profits, like you said.
Yep.
Show that you're helping the community.
You got to do reports every so often. Is that right?
Yeah, you have to have a reports every year. You have to just show where you're at and your progress and document everything you do, basically.
Excellent. So you've got a real story there. Okay, that really, if I understood that as an employee, then I start to think more. I have a bit more empathy for you. I start to realize, hey, this is the guy who's really working hard to stay here in Australia, because he obviously loves the country and he loves, you know, certain things about here, and he wants to be here. So as your employee, I want to help you to stay as well. I want to you know, be in your court and help you to get there. So can you see how the story starts to help people to connect with you closer?
Yep.
All right. And that can apply to your students as well, when they understand where you come from and what you're doing and why. You know, you don't want to make it just about obviously you staying in the country, but what you want to do is say that this is what I chose to do, because we all chose to do what we're doing. As guitar teachers, we have choices we can do lots of different things to earn money. It's like I said long ago, if it was all just about money, I'd be selling real estate. I wouldn't have got into doing guitar lessons. But it's not just about money. It's about doing something that I actually bring my passions together. And obviously I need to earn money and I need to survive and live, and that's why a business works well. And plus I enjoy business, but I also have a very strong love affair, if you like, with guitar, and I didn't want to sacrifice, because I actually tried. I went and worked in retail, went away from the guitar, spent a little bit of time in my late teens, and I hated it. I just felt that I was so detached from my music that it was killing me. So I just thought, I've got to bring the two together. I've got to incorporate them into one. My mother had businesses that I could have taken over and I could have run them, and it was $1 million business. It would have been very easy for me to just do that because I already knew it. I'd been doing it since I was a kid. I knew the business inside out, and that's where I learned a lot of my business lessons. So it was a very easy walk up start for me, but it just didn't feel right to me. I needed to find my own thing, and I needed to incorporate music into it. So when people start to understand your story, they relate more to where you're coming from and realize that it's not just a cold, hard place to turn up and learn. It's not just a cold, hard transaction. It's actually somebody behind all this who's making it happen and bringing it together. Okay. If you look at the most successful businesses, well, not all, but many successful businesses, they often do have a personality behind them. You think of Richard Branson with Virgin, Steve Jobs, even Bill Gates of Microsoft. So these particular companies have a personality who inspires the company, who's sort of behind the scenes making it happen. So that would be something that I would do in your situation, especially with your staff, is talk more about them. Do you tell them this stuff? Do they know about your story?
No, not really, no.
Okay, so be a little bit more open and work more towards actually thinking about them and developing them, helping them. What do they need? They should see you. People who work for you should really see you as a mentor. If they don't see you as a mentor, they're probably not the right employee for you. So what you're seeking out of people who are mentors, I much prefer to employ someone with almost zero experience and mentor them than bring in someone who has lots of experience, who thinks they know it all, who already has concluded that they've got all the answers. So it's just a much better, because the reality is, and again, this is well researched, is that people stay in jobs for the first period. It's about the money, but then after that period, it becomes about the connections that they make, and it could be a friendship, it could be a mentor, but there has to be people there to keep them there, unless the only other reason is the money itself is seductive enough to keep them there, and often that's a big problem, because I think we all know examples of people who earn good corporate wages and they hate their job, but they know if they leave they can't afford their house payments, so they're literally stuck in that position of having to take their 150 grand a year to pay for their lifestyle. Okay, so something to keep in mind, and so what you're trying to do is find those guys that you can really help. All right, any other questions? We're all good? All good. All right, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this opportunity to bring Monty into it, because I sort of answered the question for each of you, so I'll bring Monty. Monty, your situation at the moment is that I know that you're getting a lot of students from Thumbtack, and I know you haven't really done much with the flyers yet and so forth, and you've got a few restrictions in your area. Let's talk about your goal for your business. Let's sort of drill down a little bit on your business. When did you first start teaching guitar, by the way? Let's go back to, let's get a bit of your story while you're here. When did you first
When I
teach?
started, it was around 99.
Okay,
I have done maybe 12 different odd jobs, sales, telemarketing. I sold perfume. I sold cemetery
Me too.
plots.
I sold perfume as well.
That was only for 2 days. I wasn't very good, but I've tried everything. And, I know the town very well. I've driven everywhere. And then I probably got into a band when I was 27, and I started teaching guitar after that. So I'm kind of a late bloomer.
Yeah.
And started with maybe 10 students, and then here I am.
Okay, excellent. Excellent. All right, so kind of from 99, and so has your business, is it what's your goal? Where do you want to be?
I think 50 students, would be great, and more than that would be even better, but,
Okay. All right, so getting to the 50 student target. So when would you like to have the 50 students by? I know tomorrow is a good answer, but realistically, when is the kind of...
I mean, if I did the flyers, if I really buckled down before it started snowing, by maybe Christmas or January or February, after the Christmas rush, I should be there.
Okay, cool. Excellent.
Yeah.
And so to the 50 students, if we just look at it from an income point of view, are we looking at 50 grand a year? Is that the target?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Okay, cool. So, I mean, everybody has their own goals, and financially, it's really up to the individual. But what I try and do, my philosophy has always been, I will go for at least twice as much as I want, and that way, if I only get halfway there, I'm going to be happy. I'm going to be satisfied.
Mm-hmm.
So the idea is that I would set your target at 100 grand. I would say that 100 grand is what you're aiming for. Okay, and then getting to 50 grand shouldn't be too much effort and should be done fairly quickly. So, how many students have you got now?
Oh, I knew you was going to ask that. Well, I just booked 3.
Cool.
Same as I said last time, give or take a few.
Sorry, I asked this question a lot, so I can't remember exactly. 20-something, was it?
Yeah, around 20, because I still teach piano and some other instruments.
Yeah.
So,
okay. Okay, cool. So what we want to do is set a very clear timeline and a very clear action plan. So I'm just doing this as a bit of an exercise. Sorry to pick on you, but I figured, you were the guy we hadn't spoken to yet. So what I always do is create an action plan for how I'm going to get there, what I need to do, what it's going to take in my time and effort to get to that point where I want to be. So we're going to talk 100 students, what it's going to take to get from, let's just say 20, I know you got a few more than that, but we'll just say 20, to get another 80 students.
It's looking like 20, I just took a quick tally. It's about that.
Okay, excellent. All right, so what's it going to take to get 80 more students is really the question. What you want to look at is what you've done already. Where did your last 80 students come from, and what was required to get those 80 students? What was the effort involved, and what were the best marketing sources? Do the 80-20 on it and decide which things are going to be the least effort for the most return, and then break it down and think about what you can realistically get at this point in the short term. So if you can get 80 students over, let's just say over a 6-month period, which is very possible. Okay, it's depending on where you are, and we are in one of the toughest economic times in my lifetime right now, and I don't know how aware you guys are of that, but we are definitely in a very tough time. It's you see it all around the world. All the economies are sluggish. Australia's dollar has just died, and so we've got all these things going on, but it's a good thing, because what it means is that when you build your business through these times, when the times turn around, which they always go through cycles, it'll come good again, and then things will really start to boom. People will open up their wallets again and start spending and buying things. And so the thing that I would do would be to break down where I've got my last, whatever stats you've got, where those students have come from, and then what it's going to cost you in each of those sectors and areas to get more of those students. So start with what you know works, and like I said, I know you haven't done many of the flyers, but if you can start doing that and really making it a routine, so it's a daily habit to go out and do, even if you just do 100, just do 100 a day. Get out there and do the 100. They pay for themselves. That's the thing with the flyers, is that once you, and I don't want you to go paying other people to do it until you test it yourself, and because that'll give you the confidence. Otherwise, you're going to pay people and you won't get the result you're expecting straight away, and then you'll be disappointed because you're losing money. So if you go out and do it yourself, and you commit to doing the first 5,000 by yourself, and then have a look at what result you get, and if out of that 5,000 you get 5 students, those 5 students will each pay you $100, $99. There's $500. That money could be used to pay someone else to do the next 5,000. So therefore, it's not going to cost you anything to do the next 5,000. You with me on that?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. So it's just really about having that plan and then actioning it, just moving forward on it and making it happen. Because it's once you do it, you wonder why you didn't do it before.
Yeah, I could have had a new car. I could have.
Exactly.
Got rid of that junker.
New car, you could be living in a new house, you could have a new guitar, you could help the homeless guy on the street. There's so many things you can do.
That's right. Mm-hmm.
You know, you're not limited, and it really, you know, where we are today. And I always sort of use this cliche, but where we are today is the result of what we were doing this time last year. So, if you can think about what you're doing this time last year, that really is the sum of where you are today. And where you're going to be this time next year is what you're doing today. So really, if you can go out and start doing those flyers, you'll see a different, and you hold the momentum as well, which is often underestimated. The inertia and momentum from taking action creates more momentum to want to take more action, and it builds on there. And then people around you want to take action as well. They become inspired by you, and so it goes.
Cool. Thank you.
All right. So I think we're done. Unless anyone's got any last comments, we will close down there, and I'll let these termites do their work. Very nice termites. Adam made a comment here. What was that, Adam? Comment about deadliest animals in the world? Is that what? Is it you talking about Australia?
Yeah. When Joachim said he moved to Australia, I said it's because he wanted to be around all the world's deadliest animals.
That's it. It's that the world's deadliest spider is right where Joachim lives. The final word spider. You can
see this, but it's my Thumbtack award.
Oh, fantastic!
Yeah.
Excellent. So that's best in Pittsburgh.
It's for the highest-ranking music teacher on Thumbtack in Pittsburgh.
Excellent.
Yeah, I got a picture with some of my students too, and I'm gonna, you know, put that on the Facebook page and the website and everything. And
yeah, if you can take a picture too, send it to me, and or let me know when it's on Facebook. I'll share it around. That's great.
Okay, cool. Definitely.
We can definitely get some leverage out of that. So.
Mm-hmm.
Beautiful. Well, I think Adam, do you use Thumbtack at all?
No, I haven't tried it yet.
Okay, cool. Well, maybe maybe give it a go, because it's definitely.
Let me send you a link.
That's it. Get on his affiliate link.
That's right. So, how many are you guys are from U.S.?
I think
Adam? Just okay.
Today, Adam. Yeah.
Like, what's working? What marketing is working really well? If you're not using Thumbtack, is it the flyers?
Door hangers all the day.
Yes. Yeah. I mean, that's definitely the next step. But I was just asking if you used Angie's List or anything like that.
It's all crap.
Nope. Okay.
No, you can't beat the flyers. Door hangers are the best by far.
Okay.
I think you sent me, and I'm just remembering one report, but Adam did 5,000 and got something like 14 inquiries. Is that right, Adam?
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, which is fantastic.
Excellent.
That's
And I'm back in Bowie again because I finished Bowie, and I'm going around and people are calling me and they're saying, "Hey, I got your door hanger last year, but I didn't call you." But now they're like, I got it again, so now I'm wanted to call you because it entered my mind again. A lady was outside and she knew exactly who I was. I was wearing the shirt, and I think she's gotten the flyer before she knew who I was. Started talking to me. Everyone starts to know who you are. They start to know about your school and that kind of thing. You can't beat it.
Yeah, it's the branding, and he's putting it out there. And the thing about the door hanger, I never did door hangers, and now that the guys in the US who are doing it, David Mins is having a lot of success with it as well, and Ken as well. Ken's doing well with it. The guys who are doing it are building a real kind of reputation in the area. And so, if you wear your T-shirt and you go out, people are going to start to know it, because on the door, it's not just in the letterbox, it doesn't get seen, but on the door, people even walking past can often see it, if I'm correct. Is that right?
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. So it's a lot more visual and very hard to miss. Obviously, in your letterbox, you can easily pick it up and throw it out, but on your door. So, you're definitely getting more exposure from it. And I believe where it came from was actually David Mins talking about the real estate agents doing it in California. So this is again one of the the benefits of networking is that this wasn't my idea, this was his idea, and he put the first one together based on the design that we had, and went out and did it, and then I mentioned it to Adam and a few others, and it's, yeah, so this is how things happen, is we're all doing little things and testing, and Thumbtack does work, we know it works, it just doesn't work for everybody, but we know it's definitely working for some of the guys. Even David Mins uses Thumbtack as well, and he's having success with it as well. So one of the things that David Mins mentioned just to me about the Thumbtack thing is he said that it's kind of almost like a first in first serve. Like people will send out an offer and you've got to get in quick. So I think part of the success with Thumbtack from his point of view is responding quickly, not leaving it too long. Would you agree with that?
You got to sit by your phone and stare at your phone all day.
Yeah.
I'll teach you. You got to tell your students, wait a minute. Here, play the 145, and I'll be right back.
It's my special Thumbtack phone. I've got a special Thumbtack phone.
Yeah. We'll hire somebody to do everything.
Yeah.
I try to respond as soon as I can.
Yeah. Well, that's it. I mean, it's generally the way to go. But look, it's very exciting to hear what Adam's doing in his area, because he really is becoming a notable person in the area, and that's what you're wanting to do, because you're not just competing. This is sometimes where we misunderstand. You're not just competing with other guitar teachers. In fact, other guitar teachers are the least of your concern. What you're competing with are people's other activities, other things, other distractions that are going on in the world. That's what you're competing against. Right? So the more that you get out there, the more people know about you. Is it, do I learn guitar, or do I go and watch a movie, or do I, watch TV? What am I going to do? Everything's competing for my attention, and that's where you've got to be front and center. What's that?
All that after-school sports.
Yes.
Track, football, hockey, basketball. It's always something.
Exactly. There's a million things that's going on, and that's why you want to be front and center, and that's what your marketing and your campaigning is about making sure you're front and center. So.
Mm-hmm.
All right, better go. Thanks, guys, and same time, same channel next week. Thanks for tuning in.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye.
See you later.
David.